just show you how I do my composting in place. Yesterday I emptied this little half butt, it's a half a water butt. I emptied all the compost out of it and I put it over there. You may recall in my previous video what I'd done was I'd put a whole layer of rubbishy shreddy bits underneath of. I put cardboard on top and I've topped it with compost and I've sown some seeds in there. Now they're just for leaves, whatever comes we'll eat through as salads. But this here, now I do this every year. What I've done there is I've put a bag full of leaves and little branches and twigs and goodness knows what. I'm going to give it a really good wetting and I'm going to cover it with a sheet of polythene. In a couple of weeks time it will have dropped by about half as all the worms get to work on it. And then what I'll do when it's dropped, as soon as I see it's dropped by half, I will fill it with compost. I've got bags of compost behind of the shed and I will fill it with compost and I'll plant things in. What I'll do before I put the compost down though, of course, I'll put some cardboard on the top. So underneath the cardboard, the worms and everything are getting to work, breaking that down into lovely rich compost. I'll have probably 4, maybe 5 inches of compost on the top of the cardboard and I'll have that planted up with shallow rooted things. Maybe lettuce, I don't know, maybe lettuce, maybe radish, I haven't decided yet. And I say I do this every single year without fail, and every single year round about the autumn time that will be beautiful compost. And I'll turf it out again, I'll turf it out onto the beds over there. That's for next year, that one. And again I'll start it all again around about September, October. And then through the summer what I do is I have another one that I have empty and we get the waste compost off the council, the green waste compost, and it's bone dry, there's nothing in it at all, there's no nutrient whatsoever, and I put it in layers. I call it like lasagna layers, and I put it into one of the other tubs. I layer the grass clippings from my neighbour with compost, and each time she cuts a lawn I layer it up, and again the following year that is the most wonderful compost. It's rich, it's brown, it's earthy. So you might not want space for a compost bin, you might not have space for a compost bin, but you certainly have space for a big pot. Half fill it with rubbish, I don't mean rubbish, I mean like green rubbish, and then top it up with compost and still grow in the top of it. You don't need a compost bin, just compost in place.